David, I've been corresponding with your office for about a month, and I'm excited to be able to talk with you now and find out more about what you do. You're in an industry called geese abatement, which is something that not a lot of people have heard about.
Yeah, well, yes. Abatement, I don't know if I'd use that word, but goose control. We control Canada geese with working border collies. So it's environmentally safe. It's safe for the geese, and we keep moving along and keep them out of conflict with people.
Geese conflicting with people must be a big problem. I spoke to your vice president yesterday, and she said that last year your office in New Jersey topped $2 million in sales.
Yeah, just in my office, correct.
And that's not even counting the money that your franchises made in other states.
That's correct.
So, how many states do you have franchises in?
We have 11 offices in 14 states.
In 14 states?
Yeah, because one office goes in and out of 2 states, or 2 offices do, really.
Okay, and they're all on the east coast of the U.S.?
Nope, I have an office in Kansas City, in Wisconsin, Chicago, Virginia, Georgia, Maryland. They're all over. So the whole United States almost, we just don't go further south than Atlanta, Georgia. As you get a little further south of Georgia, you got alligators to play with, and I'm not putting a dog in the lake with alligators. But it's a problem. It's a problem nationwide.
Sure. But I found out a little about your background. You worked on a golf course, and that's how this whole thing got started. I used to be a caddy when I was young, and the geese were a real problem.
I was a golf course superintendent. But my job, it didn't matter. I could have been king of the golf course. And it literally almost came down to get rid of the geese or get rid of Dave. And I wasn't going to lose my job.
So you came across this idea to use border collies?
Yep. When I was a kid, I had seen a dog working cattle before, but I didn't know at the time it was a specific breed of dog until later on in life when I had going through my frustration with geese on my golf course. I was in a bookstore. My brother was looking for a book. I was just standing around. I just happened to pick up this book of dogs. And when I turned that page, and there that dog was, I said, if that dog could move those 2,000-pound cows, he certainly could move a 14-pound goose. And that's how it all started. Because I did try, prior to border collies, I tried various other breeds of dogs. And I tried every other harassment technique there was to move geese off of my course. And everything worked for a little while, and then it'd soon be right back to the square one. But as soon as the border collies came on the scene, it was over.
So that's interesting. There are different kinds of collies, but only one kind of collie works, and that's the border collie.
Exactly right. Any dog could chase geese. You and I could run out across a field and get geese to fly away, but you're a nuisance to them. So they'll soon return and come right back. A boxer, a poodle. There's a bunch of reasons why border collies are successful. One, like a lab or an Irish setter or whatever, their chase behavior is based on retrieving, hence the name Labrador Retriever. So even if you had a well-behaved lab and you put them out on the geese, if they don't have the gratification of grabbing a duck or a goose and bringing it back to you, their chase behavior will stop. A border collie doesn't need a gratification of touching the animal to maintain the chase behavior. Then what separates the border collie from all the other herding technique dogs, one, their instinct is to gather, and bring it to me. So they don't need the gratification to maintain a good chase behavior.
Okay.
But border collies are the only herding dog that uses a wolf-like glance called the eye to influence stock or herd in a flight or movement. And the easiest way to explain that is their head's down, their tail's shot between their legs, and they're stalking. They're not barking. They're not carrying on. They're just staring. And it's kind of like a
wolf.
If you ever saw like a wolf, a coyote, or Arctic fox is exactly what the geese are counting my dogs. By me visiting a property several times a day, all we're doing is introducing to the property what's missing, which is a natural predator.
Sure.
So every day when we're out there, we're playing with hundreds of thousands of years of predatory prey instinct. And it's successful because of the approach border collies use when they're working.
It's obviously effective and a much-needed service, yes, especially in your state of New Jersey. There are so many golf courses and large parks there. And when you have geese occupying the land that's meant for humans, it becomes a health issue. So you're not just getting rid of the quacking, you're getting rid of the disease.
Absolutely. There's plenty of places where the geese could, be fine. There's plenty of areas that they could live and not be a conflict. But you don't want them sitting in the park, where your kids are going to come play, soccer or baseball or even run around and do cartwheels. The other thing, in the springtime, they can become very aggressive.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, when they're protecting the nest or they're young, when the goslings, the males especially become very aggressive. I've seen it where an office building, they can't get in their front door because the geese are chasing everybody out of there, literally attacking people. And it happens every spring. We get those calls.
It's obvious that we have a problem, and you're helping us claim our land again. That's what you're doing. What impresses me is that your border collies have a technique of not harming the birds. They don't even touch them, and they learn that in their training.
Absolutely, all in the training, yep. An untrained border collie, quick as killer gooses, look at it. All our dogs are sheep trials. We train them on, sheep, goats, cattle first. They know not to touch the animal, and then we move them down into, Indian runner ducks, domestic geese, and then eventually Canada geese. We don't start training a dog until they're about 12 or 14 months old.
Why is that?
If you take a young herding dog and you put them on stock, the dogs have to be mentally old enough to handle stock pressure. So even if you had like a mad ewe or ram or even a duck or a goose chases off the young puppy, you might not ever get that dog on the hook again. They have a bad experience when they're young.
Yeah.
That usually follows through their life. And then it takes about anywhere from 12 to 16 months of training before they can work out on the road. There's plenty of stuff we do. We do trials and nursery trials and work in the yard and practice. But my dogs that are worth anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 a piece. A piece, and we'll put them. They're working by roadways and parking lots because they're completely remote controlled. My dogs are trained to go clockwise, counterclockwise, speed up, slow down, get on the geese, get off the geese, get in the water, don't get in the water. I can adjust their speed, their distance, and they're trained on voice and whistles.
Does it work on wives too? Your training?
No.
No?
Don't work on kids either because my kids don't listen to me either.
Only on the dogs.
Yep, works great on the dog.
All right, well, moving on here. And another impressive point is that even PETA likes what you do. Can you tell us about PETA?
PETA is the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, and then there's the Humane Society. They actually recommend our treatment. Some of the places don't mention us by name, but they mention our application only for no conflict of interest. But yes, so all our methods are accepted and encouraged by PETA, the United States Humane Society, ASPCA, the whole gamut of them. And we do a lot of work with them every day. We run across them.
Well, that brings us to another issue. I understand that there's something called the Migratory Bird Act of 1916.
Mm-hmm. That's still intact.
Still intact. Still in effect. And it says that if you try to eradicate migratory birds, you can't harm them. If you do, it's a really serious offense. I never knew that.
Yeah, it's still a federal offense. It's the Migratory Bird Act, and it's illegal to possess, attempt to possess, kill, attempt to kill, capture, attempt to capture any migratory waterfowl. And then there are areas and times of the year that you are allowed to hunt. But that Migratory Bird Act kind of covers all the geese. Most of the geese that we work with on a daily basis aren't even migratory birds. They're residential birds. However, you can't tell them apart. So they are protected by species, not by the individual acts, even though there's 285,000 geese in New Jersey alone that are never going to migrate. They'll spend their whole life within a mile of where they're born.
I have a question. Is 35 employees enough to take on all of those geese?
Yeah, because I had more in the past. I've had as many as 48 employees. And that's when it was my decision. It was how big do you want to be? And I could put on 10 more trucks and 10 more employees, but then I decided it'd be more fun to open up franchise offices.
Yeah, I just heard that you have a franchise office in Georgia. It's a new one.
Yep, yep. That's the new one I'm working on right now as we speak. Atlanta, Georgia is our newest office, and we're going to run all of North Georgia.
In all of North Georgia. But you're going to stay away from the lower areas where there's alligators.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
David, there are a lot of people who are listening that are in their formative years. They're just thinking about what they want to do in life. And there are older listeners who are career changers. But your story speaks to both types because you found a job that fits who you are. You're an outdoors person. I
Hmm.
just spoke to your vice president and she was telling me a lot about you. She says that you love what you do. So, for all the people listening who want to find their way through life, can you give any good advice?
Absolutely. I mean, I've had a job, and I made good money, and I got up and went to work every day. But there's nothing like finding something that you really do enjoy to do. It's still fun every day to get up and do it. I still love working the dogs and training the dogs every day. And, and especially when you're working with wild animals, something funny or goofy will always happen. It's inevitable that something will go amok. It's just, almost comical but you really do have to find something that you're good at and like to do, and the rest is easy.